A lot of times when people think about what they're made to be, they don't understand that they're unique and precious. Jesus, Yeshua, was talking to Peter and said, "You are a pebble, and upon this rock will I build my church." And that is pretty impactful. Peter goes on in his epistle, 1 Peter in chapter 2, and says, "As you come to him, the living stone, rejected by men, but chosen and precious in God's sight, you also, the living stones, are being built into a spiritual house, the holy priesthood, offering spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. For it stands in Scripture," this is from Isaiah, "See, I lay in Zion a stone, a chosen and precious cornerstone, and the one who believes in him will never be put to shame." So then Peter says, "To you who believe then, the stone is precious, but to you who do not believe," and then he quotes from Psalms, "the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone." And then going back to Isaiah, "a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense." They stumbled because they disobey the word, as to this they were appointed to obey. We go back to verse 4. "As you come to him, the living stone rejected by men, but chosen and precious in God's sight, you also are like living stones being built into a spiritual house, holy priesthood, offering spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Yeshua HaMashiach." So Peter says, look, we're rocks. Some of us are diamonds. Some of us are geodes with precious amethyst inside. Some of us, is that bugging you, that light? Let's see if I can do this. How's that? Is that better? Some of us are rubies, sapphires, topaz, emeralds. Some of us are just malachite. Some of us are just granite. Some of us are sandstone. But you know what? We're all rocks. We are all rocks. And that's pretty cool. When you go to school, you probably have been to school. If and when you have gone to school, you sit there and you learn this stuff and you're like, oh, what am I supposed to do here? And then they give you geometry for 30 minutes or 45 minutes. Then they give you history. And then they give you science, biology. And then they give you English. It's like, they're crushing your spirit. They're turning you into a brick. Now, think about bricks. Bricks are uniform. Bricks are made to be designed for a purpose of building something else, right? They're not good for their own thing. It takes a master craftsman to turn rocks into a structure or stones into a structure, but it takes anybody, me and Jose, can build a house foundation with bricks and mortar pretty quickly. You think about mortar. Mortar is just a slime pre-brick. Bricks were slime, crushed rock, and then they were turned into bricks by baking in the sun, or you can put it in a kiln. But it is the master builder who creates and turns his stones and rocks into beautiful buildings. We are not meant to be bricks. We are not meant to build the empires of other people's dreams. We're built to build our own dreams. We are built to create our own recipe for our own build. Now, some of us are like, well, I wasn't given this and that and the other. Yeah, but does the clay complain? Because the lump that was made for dishonor, one for honor, one for dishonor, the lump can't say to the potter, why did you make me this way? Why did you do this to me? This isn't fair. Blah, 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 blah. Well, we can't. It doesn't do any good, does it? What does good is accepting the fact that you are you and doing the thing you're supposed to do. And then, hopefully, you are able to go into the world and do the thing that you're supposed to do. Now, some of us are better at certain things. I'm really good at creativity. I'm really bad at math. I'm not supposed to be like my brother Timothy. My brother Tim, he's really good at math. And I'm not supposed to be a professor of accounting or macroeconomics or whatever he is right now. I'm not sure. I think he just changed. He is a very specific job because he has a very specific tool set. He's a very specific skill set in his own natural abilities. And then he applied it and got, some skill with his talent. So when we are, to adjust my AC here, when we are given our responsibilities, like, hey, Polly, I'm going to put into you this. I want you to go out and do the thing that you're supposed to do. I'm like, okay, here's my talents. Let me increase my talent share by skills, and then I'm going to go into the workplace or the marketplace, and I'm going to apply my natural stuff, and hopefully somebody out there needs what I'm giving. And if they don't need exactly what I'm giving, then I need to modify and find out what they need, because that's the myth. How to start your business. Make your business, then market your business. Are you an idiot? No. Find out what people want, then do that. So because diamonds, look at diamonds. Diamonds are a trash rock. They really are just garbage. They're everywhere, and it's companies like De Beers that says, oh no, diamonds are forever and blah, 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 blah. You know what else is forever? Pyrite, fool's gold, clay is forever. Well, actually, clay can be turned into something else. Sand is forever, but you can turn sand into something else. You can turn diamonds into something else. You can have a gold colored, a yellow diamond. You can use a black diamond or a blue diamond. You can have it for industrial work. You can put it on a ring if you really want to. I don't think you should, but you really want to, you can. The marketing ploy, it was really all marketing. People didn't have diamonds in the rings before De Beers said, hey, let's start marketing these. And it's funny. But you are a unique and valuable asset that nobody else is. Don't be a brick. Be a stone, because you were created to be a living stone. A beautiful living stone. And people complain about, well, I'm not this person and I can't do this. Well, quit competing against that. The ruby doesn't say to the sapphire, how come I'm not like you? Or the malachite doesn't say to the amethyst, how come I'm not like you? It's its own thing, man. It's its own thing. It's its own beautiful thing. It really is. You have different purposes for different rocks. Every single rock has a different purpose. And find your own purpose. Find out who you're supposed to be. Find out what you're supposed to do, and then multiply it. Remember the first command, be fruitful and multiply. Not the first commandment, but the first command in the Bible, in Genesis. Be fruitful and multiply. That means you go out and you multiply. Not be fruitful and divide. Not be fruitful and add. But be fruitful and multiply. What was the story of the guy who gives the man one talent, and the guy who gives the other guy? So he's a very, very rich businessman. He gives the man one talent. The man with one talent goes and does his thing. The man with 2 talents goes and does his thing. The man with 5 talents goes and does his thing. And then when the master comes back, he says to the man with 5, hey, what did you do? Well, I turned around and made 5 more. Okay, good, well done, good and faithful servant. People use good and faithful servant all the time, and it's completely mystifying that God is talking about money right there. The fruits of money, time and energy and money are really just the same thing in different categories. Like, you can have time and energy and turn it into money. You can have money and buy more time. You can have money and change it out for energy. Like, if I don't want to mow my lawn, I'm going to hire somebody else to mow my lawn, or water my plants, or clean my house, or something like that. Anyway, so the guy with 2 talents, master comes to him and says, what did you do? Well, I turned my 2 talents into 2 more talents. That's great. Well done, good and faithful servant. So the same good and faithful servant is given to the first man with 5 and the second man with 2. Who turned into 10, who turned into 4. But the third guy, who had the 1 talent, he said to the master, I knew you were a hard man, and you reaped where you did not sow. Did he really know that, though? Or he's just like putting stuff together that wasn't correct? Maybe he was. And so I buried that 1 talent, and I put the 1 talent in the ground. The master's like, you evil, wicked, slothful servant. So Jesus, Yeshua, is equating wickedness with not multiplying. He's equating wickedness with poverty. He's equating wickedness with not taking your talent and using your talent in the way it should have been used. Even with the 1 talent. Now, this is totally against the United States philosophies of equity and equality of wealth and blah, blah, blah. But he says to his servants, take that 1 talent from that 1 man and give it to the guy with 5. Boom, right there. And take that 1 man and send him out where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's rough, bro. That's some pretty rough stuff right there. But it's correct. Why? Because he said it. I didn't say that. That was there when I got up this morning. That was already there when I looked at the Bible, and I found that the wicked man is the poor man. The poor man is wicked because he doesn't take what he's supposed to be doing with his talent and turning it into wealth. So therefore, go out and create wealth. Because what does the righteous man do? He leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Go out and use your talents, turn them into more money, and then use that money to bless others. Don't be poor, because poverty is a curse. It is. It really is. And wealth is blessing from Him. When we live through our full potential and multiply ourselves and subdue the earth and turn our innate talents, enhanced by skills, things that we've learned through not higher education, but it can be apprenticeship, but it can be education as well. It can be schooling, if you want to call it that, but not in the indoctrination camps that we call school. But you enhance your skills, you go out and you create value for others, because that's really what good sales is creating value for others. And you are a rock. You're a precious rock. You are a non-agentic thinker who promotes themselves as, look, here's the value I'm going to uncover about what I can do for you. If you're blessing others and serving others, they're going to pay you for it. Have a great day. Live in the fullness that God has created you to live in, and don't be a brick. Don't be a brickhead. Be a rock. Be a stone. And go out there and get it done. Bye.